Well, as we look at the implications of the Smithfield's merger on the U.S. pork industry, it's clearly too early to say what the implications are going to be. But I think the opportunity could be quite large. We could look back on this 5 years and say this was a fundamental turning point for globalization of the pork industry. We won't know that for some time into the future, but there is the opportunity. So let me talk about what that opportunity could mean. Clearly, China is the largest population country of the world. It is the largest pork producer by far and has by far the largest consumer market for pork. The policy in China has primarily been self-sufficiency in pork production. Now what that means is we'll produce our own pork. They do import a little bit, but primarily to cover shortages in their own country. That policy may be at a point where they can't keep up. That is, they can't increase domestic production quickly enough to meet those growing demands. China's wealth increase, their incomes increase, are really driving substantial increases in meat consumption, and meat is pork in terms of the big consumption in China. So I think the first opportunity is that this could mean that we will see more production of pork in the U.S., and that will be processed in the United States and move into export channels headed to China and Hong Kong. Now that could be quite large. We saw in 1995 where China made a decision to become primarily an importer of soybeans. They had been primarily self-sufficient on soybeans up till 1995. Then they made the decision that they would be self-sufficient in rice, wheat, and corn production, but they couldn't produce enough soybeans. So they decided to go outsource the soybeans and set off a huge demand growth for soybean exports, both from the U.S. as well as South America. That was really a fundamental factor in giving U.S. prosperity in the last 5 to 7 years in agriculture. So could this be a factor as big as that? Well, it has the possibility. On the other hand, we don't know that that's the case. Chinese policy has been primarily self-sufficiency in pork production. It could well simply mean that they want to open those linkages so that they can source more pork from the United States if they need it, but it's not their intent to do that. So only in the case of, say, emergency shortages. So we don't know that in the short run, but opening doors of opportunity, sometimes we get more trade because we open those doors of opportunity, and that's what I would see here.